I've got one of our the panel, and I'm so excited because on day one the panel is going to be about productivity and systems and structures and profitability, which, by the way, doesn't always go along with production. A lot of these people get big, but they don't have any profit. So we're going to talk about that. And day two, of course, we're going to be on the marketing side, doing a little bit more with the marketing panel. But this guy is amazing. I got a chance to meet him just a couple months back, and very excited to have him on the panel. Spencer McDuffy, all the way from Texas, Sherman, Texas. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me here.
Thanks for being on the panel. Thanks for being here. Of course, I'm excited to push you out here and have people get a chance to meet you, which is really what I wanted to do here. But I'm really excited because you're going to be sharing, a large part of your success. And what I love about and I want to hear about your background specifically. But Spencer, what I liked about you when I met you was you're not like a 10-year veteran. This is your fourth year, as I remember. You're closing out your fourth year soon.
Yep.
And you're killing it. And, I saw you as being somebody that people could emulate and say, wow, if I can do that. I can do what he's doing. I can be like that. Right. And sometimes it's hard to relate to, 100 million in production when you're doing 3, right? But I like where you're at. And so I thought it was really cool to get you here. Thank you for your participation in all of it. So tell us about you. Tell us where you came from, but most importantly, as it relates to how'd you get into real estate? Where was that turn?
Yeah, for sure. So I was an accountant before I got in real estate. Didn't really love it. Did that for about 5 years. Threw in the towel. Decided it was something else. So that's probably
you're the wrong personality for that. You're not the right guy for that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that at the time. I figured I just didn't know. So I ended up getting out of accounting. I flipped my first house. I was kind of one of those guys that got into the whole bigger pockets thing. And, I was just trying to find a way to make some extra money as an accountant, basically. Found bigger pockets, ended up actually doing my first flip kind of from that whole thing a couple of years after being exposed to that. First time I did a flip was the first time that I got exposed to real estate agents. So I had a real estate agent when I purchased a home, and I had a real estate agent when I sold the home. I wasn't a very good flipper, because I realized that the real estate agents made more for sure than I did on the flip. I said, well, maybe it's time to look at a new opportunity, because I just wanted to be an investor. I didn't want to be an agent at that time. Luckily, I had a mentor who showed me, that it's definitely possible to make a really great living as a real estate agent. You don't just have to be an investor. So that's how I ended up getting into real estate. At the time, I was working full time. I was probably 25 or so working in accounting. I dropped out of the Master's of Accounting program at UTD. Said, I'm done with this. Moved across the country, moved back in with my mom, actually, and kind of roughed it. 26, 27 years old at that point, kind of roughed it, and got the business off the ground. So the first year did 44 transactions. Second year, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 67 transactions. Last year, which was my third full year, did 88 transactions. This year, projecting actually to do a little bit less than last year in terms of number of units, but a higher gross volume and a higher gross commission. So no problem there. But looking to take 100 listings this year. That's my big goal. And obviously I finally want to hit that mark of doing 100, because just hitting that 88, I was so close, and I just got to hit that 100.
Isn't that funny? You're like at 88, people are going, oh my gosh, you did 88. And you're like, but I fell short, right?
I was only 12. I was only just 12.
Yeah.
So close.
I don't know if you saw that Pat Mancuso said hi to both of us, but Pat, I love you. But Allison Gaddy's here, and that's my better half by far smarter half and far better half. And she's, of course, co-hosting Breakthrough Summit 22 with me next week, and she's all excited about you being here too. So, hey, girlfriend. Hey, babe. Yeah, we're looking forward to having you for sure. So you started off with a bang. I mean, you came right out of the chutes. Mm-hmm. What was the difference maker? What was the deal that made that happen?
Right.
There's work involved, but what was the formula?
Yeah. I think the big thing that separated me from most agents who get their license and just day one, I think most agents get their license and they've only focused on basically just passing the test, right? And there's so much to this business outside of knowing how many square feet are in an acre. That stuff's not real helpful in terms of going out and learning how to do a listing presentation and overcome objections and actually learning the sales process. So I think the big difference for me is when I was an accountant, this was the blessing that accountant gave me, even though I didn't like it. The benefit of accounting is you don't really have to talk to people all day, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. You don't really talk to people. So that meant I could put my headphones in all day. So I was listening to Real Estate Rock Stars with Pat Hyben for 8 hours a day for a whole year. before I got
Yeah.
licensed. I was watching, Brian Casella and these other YouTube guys, and just listening to tons of podcasts. And this was 8 hours a day, pretty much every day for a whole year. Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, all of these different, and then these agents. So just like you're saying, you're somebody potentially that people can emulate. I got it in my head pretty easy that there are tons of agents out there that have done 50 or 100 deals even in their very first year. And all I have to do is go to Google and type in, brand new agent does 100 deals his first year. There's tons of episodes. I listen to them. I start to see all the common themes in this whole thing. I knew that they're calling expireds. I knew they're calling for sell-by owners. A lot of them had coaches. A lot of them were big on social media, using video marketing techniques. And so I think the big difference was between me and the agent who kind of comes in somewhat unprepared is I had a very solid game plan of exactly what I was going to do to go out and build business. And I understood what business generation looked like. I think the average agent focuses only on basically passing their tests, and I don't really have a good structure or a good mindset around what they're going to do once they have the active license. And so that's the main thing that I've seen personally.
Yeah, Spencer, I couldn't agree more. I think you hit it right on the head. People get into this business to make a lot more money and to have a lot more time. Of course, most of them end up with neither pretty quickly, but it's because they do that. And we say that all the time. We got somebody new coming into the company with us, and we say that to them. It's like, pass the test, but remember that everything you're learning right now is going to become really clearly and important right about 24 hours after you pass that test, because then you're going to get into the business of the business, right? The business of real estate. And that's where you've excelled. So to do as many deals you did right out of the chutes, and of course to be in your third year, last year at 88 units, even falling short of your goal, I'm just saying it's pretty remarkable. So congratulations. I think that's what's going to be super attractive. And when I look ahead to what's gone on, and you're in that category. And again, this isn't a knock on anybody. It's to say that just the reality of the marketplace is that as things have changed a little bit recently, we had this whacked out crazy 2 years. I mean, who would have guessed that COVID would have created what it created? It could have been exactly the opposite, right? We could have had a horrifying market, and it could have been nothing. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people were anticipating. Yeah. And then it turned into this bonanza. But, it's really interesting because what's going on now is it seems to be stabilizing. And in the stabilization, people are like, I've had to service a listing for like 2 weeks. What do I do now? It's like there's an element of surprise. And I think our responsibility, and what I love about having you on the panel for profit productivity, all the systems and all that, is that you represent what they need to be doing in those stages right now to make the changes, to take different actions, to have different behaviors. It isn't just show up and if you take a listing, it's going to sell, you're going to make money, it's cash in the bank, et cetera, et cetera. There's an element of that still going on, but for the most part it's changing. So what are you thinking? What are you seeing coming up? And I know you're in a different marketplace because you're in a smaller town, but talk about that for a little bit. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has been crazy to see a small town like what I'm in. When I got started, the average price point in my town was like 160,000, and that was just in 2018. So it wasn't a long time ago. Pretty low price point. You could get a brand new build, literally 2018 brand new construction for 160,000. So that's kind of the market. And so now to see where it's at now, which is not as crazy as the whole rest of the country, but still comparatively to where we have been here, very, very crazy. And so when I started in the business, it wasn't uncommon that you didn't take listings overpriced. Now it's like, it's 40 grand overpriced. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens, right? Where back then it was like, hey, me and the seller, we're gonna have a long, drawn out conversation about price, and if we can't come to an agreement, it may be better that we just part ways. And so I've kind of seen it go up, I've kind of seen it go down, and have to do price reductions and all that kind of thing. So in my personal opinion, in my market, I don't expect that we're going to see a drastic slowdown personally anytime, real soon. Again, because the affordability compared to the rest of the country is still very, very affordable. So nowadays you can get a brand new home for 220,000, 260,000 still. So I think it's very, and it's one of these tertiary markets that's north of DFW, so if somebody wants to get out of DFW and go get cheaper, affordable housing, we're that place. And we do have a big influx of people. We have new jobs that are coming in. TI is opening a new plant here in Sherman and everything like that. So there's a lot of people coming. Demand is really, really high. So I expect it'll increase at a decreasing rate from how crazy it's been, but I don't expect that it'll just massively fall out of the bottom or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, listen, you've built a lot of your business in the early days, especially through expireds, I would guess. I don't know about FSBOs, but
Yeah.
at least on the expired sides,
Right.
call Sphere,
Right.
that kind of thing. What are
Yep.
you doing now? What's changed? What's moving next for you?
Really, the crazy thing is like not that much has really changed. I still run my business pretty much the same way. From the very beginning, I was very big on social media, but it wasn't. But I was at least smart enough to know that in the beginning, social media takes time. It takes time. You can't just go out there and get a check from social media from day one. I mean, maybe you can, but it's not really consistent, or at least I didn't find that was the way that it worked. So I was always doing that, knowing that over time it's going to compound, it's going to compound, it's going to compound. But I was still calling the for sale by owners. I was still calling, just listed, just sold, still calling the expired listings. And realistically, that's still kind of the same way that I do it now. I always prioritize my prospecting because conversations is what real estate is about, in my opinion. But you can't discount how powerful and scalable social media is as well. So I think you have to doing the same. And I haven't really changed that model really since I've been in, and it's allowed me to just grow and grow and grow. It's just, and a lot of that I think is because over time, social media and marketing does come back tenfold, but it does take time. So I probably do as much prospecting as I did when I was brand new, but I do, double or triple the deals at this point. And I would attribute a lot of that to that scalability of having social media and everything, and just being in the business longer. So more repeat clients, more past clients, stuff like that. All right, y'all. So the video actually got cut out. We had some technical difficulties with the host. And so rather than making you sit through that and try to figure out what the heck is going on with the video, I wanted to just go ahead and just cut it off and have a message for you guys. The beginning of this video, we started out talking about, my background and how I went from accounting into becoming a full-time real estate agent, how I went from doing, 44 to 67 to 88 deals in my third year. And this year, my fourth full year, the goal is to take 100 listings and to do obviously over 100 transactions. And so if you're interested in learning exactly what I do every day to go out there and generate business and find potential sellers that want to work with me, how I've, year to date this year set 35 listing appointments and already just through May taking 30 listings so far. So behind the goal, obviously, to hit the 100 listings, then you need to text me. 972-838-1099. Text me, pick your brain, and include your name in the text message so I know who you are. We can set up a time, we can discuss this, we can talk, and we can see if maybe I have some strategies and some tips and some tricks that maybe that you can implement into your business. Sometimes it's just as simple as putting in the work. Sometimes it's more complex, a little bit more of a hack, right? Like you watch my video on Facebook birthdays, that's a hack, that's a tactic that you can go out there and use. But some of you guys need to have maybe a mindset shift and actually just put in the work. And so I'm happy to help you guys with either way on how that goes. So reach out to me, shoot me a text message, 972-838-1099. You can pick my brain. I'm happy to give you 15, 20 minutes and we can chat to see if there's anything that I can do to help you grow your business. Guys, always remember, I'm trying to do this stuff to give back to the community. YouTube is a very difficult platform to be on. So give me a comment, give me a like, give me a subscribe, because it's tough to post these videos and put out this content and see 18 views, 20 views in the 18, 20 people that watch it didn't even like and subscribe. So help a brother out, man. Motivate me to keep putting out this content for you guys, because the people that are watching it, it's not a lot of people. They are saying that it's pretty good content and it's helping them to build their business. So comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to know what I do, shoot me a text message or join the breakthrough that we were discussing in the video. Buy a ticket and you can check that out. Also, you can join my Rookie Mega Agents group, and where I'm going to be focusing most of my attention is on YouTube. So comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.